What's up guys, you are watching Tuck TV and we just crossed 400 subscribers. So thank you. We have been a little occupied with a lot of stuff. He has been traveling and as you can hear I've been down with the flu. I am better now.
Or rather down with the sickness.
Before we start this video, we thought we'd give you a quick update. We are getting into doing some new stuff, which you're gonna find out on our channel soon enough. And we've also been working on a lot of new content musically as well, which is why, there has been this gap. Thanks for your support. And we look forward to getting to 500 real soon. We're planning to do a little giveaway, for stay tuned for that. If you like what you see, give this video a thumbs up and be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon for more news and updates from us. Let's get into the video. Today's video is a beginner's buyer's guide in terms of buying a guitar and everything you sort of have to be prepared for and look out for here in India.
Because essentially something in like a country like India, it is something which is different from what you see in other places because you have a lot more of other choices in other places.
That is true.
Availability and the price factor.
Without further ado, let's get into the points you have to look out for.
Know what suits your style.
Essentially by this, what we're trying to say is there are predominantly, of course, while there are a lot of types of guitars, but they're broken down into acoustic and electric. Even in acoustic guitars, we have the classical guitar, which
and
generally uses the nylon strings, and the steel string guitars. Now, of course, the classical string guitar has slightly more spaced out frets because it is used to be playing with finger picking. It's a good option if you want to learn bass because I've also started off on it. And then we have the conventional steel string guitar. Then, of course, electric guitars in itself are a whole different ball game.
You'll have a lot of people who are telling you that you cannot start off your guitaring career without, starting with like an acoustic guitar. But then trust me, they're kind of wrong. You can always do it on any instrument as long as you're motivated enough to do. I mean, at least at the end of the day, all you need is a guitar which kind of makes you want to pick it up and play it the moment you see it.
At the end of the day, practice comes first.
Exactly. So there's no harm in starting off with an electric guitar. It's just this factor that if you start off with an acoustic, it kind of helps you play a bit more cleaner.
Also, from a monetary perspective, buying an acoustic guitar, you don't necessarily need anything else. But if you're going to invest in an electric guitar, you are then going to need an amplifier. We've done a video, with various types of amplifiers. You can check out card here or link in the description. And or might also need an expression pedal, an effects pedal. So the investment
that just purely goes on the buyer's end.
Yeah. So that's what you'll have to look out for.
Expensive doesn't always equal good.
So I honestly have to say I have had first-hand experience in this.
You have been the victim of this.
I mean, okay, at the time I didn't know a lot about these guitars. So what I'm referring to is my Alexi 200. Again, a video has been done on this. You can check it out. What essentially happens is we have this mentality that if the guitar is more expensive, it is going to be better. However, what happens is you tend to end up spending on something you may not necessarily need. And at the same time, there are a lot of entry-level mid-range guitars in the market today that have stepped up their game and you've got really good hardware and really good quality going into them. So you could end up getting a good guitar at a decent price.
The situation what Akshay was in, so it ends up becoming a signature guitar type wherein it's not actually a signature, it's just a broken down version of it. So the specs are something which is of an entry-level guitar, but then they keep charging you premium just for the factor that it's associated with a particular artist.
Know where to go.
Knowing where to go becomes an essential part of it because if you honestly ask any musician, going to a physical store would always be better if you're actually picking up the instrument. Pedals and everything are a different factor because it's completely an electronic thing. But whenever it does come down to guitars or bass or whichever are the actual instruments you're picking up, there are slight variations in the guitar itself. It's the same model, same everything, but then because of the factor of wood, its density and other things, assume this example. You guys just walk into a store, you play on a guitar and you love it. It does not make sense to go home and order the same guitar because it's not the same guitar that you're playing. And also it does not make sense for you to ask the guy, dude, do you have one which is pristine? Something which I've seen a lot of people do. They'll come, they'll spend hours together on a particular guitar and then they'll be like, this is a good guitar. Can I get a boxed piece of this?
I've actually seen that happen firsthand. This is not some musician's love here when we say that every guitar is unique. It's a fact. Every guitar is unique. Also, I like to add that if you are not comfortable or you don't have all the skills, and obviously you can't learn everything in a day, it makes total sense for you to team up with a buddy who
And
has
then
some
take him
knowledge
along.
on this
Yeah.
and take them along.
So
I mean, let's
that's-
look at it this way. At the end of the day, the guy at the store is doing his job. His
Yeah.
job is to sell. If you bought it, he just did his job. It's not that doesn't make them a bad person or any of
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
So
He's
it's,
just
it's
doing
up to
his
your
job,
homework, or have someone else, guide you through it. If not, nothing. You will learn.
Used market is an option.
This is an Orange Micro Crush amplifier. This thing retails in the market for about 5 to 7,000 rupees. I think
Yeah,
the latest
depending on
model is
which
about
one,
7
yeah.
grand. We got this in the used market for, what was it, around,
I paid around 1,500 for it. Yeah.
yeah, that's under 2,000 bucks. That's less than dinner for two.
I actually ended up picking up a Fender, a Squire Fender, but Affinity series for just 4,500, and it's in pristine condition. I think we have done a video on that. Yeah, there is one video. Here is the link.
You can check that out. I also happened to get my Cort 8880 CE acoustic guitar on the used market as well. Again, all of what we're discussing, there are links to it in the description. So essentially the point we're trying to make here is that the used market is not necessarily a bad
Bad
market.
thing, yes.
You are going to get good quality products because there are people who know how to maintain it. Now there are
Yeah.
people who don't know how to maintain it. This is where your skill and probably your buddy will come into the picture. But if you know what you're getting into, used market can be a steal deal.
There are a lot of situations that we have faced wherein when you go and talk to the person who's selling the instrument, they would have just picked it up for the sake of picking up, never actually played on it, no wear and tear, and it's just a factor of they just want to get rid of it because it's at home.
So if you're planning to buy a guitar, be sure to go through OLX, Quicker. Even the Facebook classifieds these days are an excellent option.
Yeah. Actually, coming to this point, I think the Facebook classifieds make more sense because currently on the OLX market, as far as I've seen, there are a lot of people who are just charging way too much.
That's right.
Because the audience is that way.
I think another point we can vouch for here is because the Facebook classifieds is still new, there's no middleman in between.
Exactly.
So that just makes buying and selling a little cleaner.
Discontinued models does not mean bad models.
Guitars keep going in and out of production on a lot of time. Just because it's out of production now does not make it a bad guitar. Like if you personally see my collection, I think 80% of the guitars which I own are actually out of production right now.
This is actually a valid point. Your AX260, I
Yes.
think, was a model that was discontinued because it was too good, because it was stopping the sales of higher end models. So another thing about discontinued models is more often than not, let's look at your Ibanez over here, the 121 DX. Technically, it's the same guitar that is still retailing under a different name. So a lot of
Exactly.
companies go through this refresh of part numbers. If any of you are working in the industry, you will know what I'm referring to. You have a set SKU and a part number that you refresh from time to time, and that's essentially it. It's a model number,
Which is
that
just
changed.
changing,
Yeah, but
yes.
at the end of the day, it's wood. It's
And the
you know,
specifications remain the same. That's the
Absolutely.
main thing which you need to keep in mind here.
Finding that perfect sweet spot.
Okay, so finding the perfect sweet spot. What do we mean by this? You've got entry-level guitars that start at around three. You can actually get an acoustic guitar for about 3,000 rupees with a bag and all of that stuff. But an entry-level guitar will have its own limitations. Then, of course, you have high-end guitars, which quite frankly go up in lakhs, and that depends on your budget. But then again, the question of whether you're paying for something you actually need or not. However, the point that we're trying to get at is we would suggest that you focus on the middle. That's where the real meat of the market is. It always makes more sense for you to look at an intermediate or a mid-range guitar. The benefit being that, one, it's not too basic like an entry-level guitar, and it gives you scope to upgrade, and you can go ahead and move up and make it equivalent to a model which was maybe a couple of notches above it.
Exactly. So this is where the tone of the guitar actually comes into play, because a lot of people, when they end up buying a guitar, they have a certain, note in their head.
Yeah.
So pretty much they'll be inspired by certain bands, and then they kind of pick up their instruments, and then it doesn't sound the same way that they want it to. There are certain aspects of tone which cannot be changed. Per se, whenever we are talking about even the electric or the acoustic, it's the wood which is used in making these things.
You could spend lakhs on a guitar, but if it is made of, say, alder or basswood, it's not going to give you density because it's not a mahogany. So you need to know these stuff. That's where your knowledge or having that buddy is going to come handy. So know your tones. So that's what we have in terms of advice, what we can give you. In case we've missed anything, you could hit us up in the comments below and we'll be sure to reply to you. What are your thoughts on this video? You think there is some points we could
Missed
taken
out?
up or we
Yeah.
missed out? Yeah, please let us know and give this video a thumbs up if you like what you see.
If you want to keep seeing videos like this and a lot more of original content, a lot more of skits and everything, make sure to hit that subscribe button.
With the bell icon.
Yes, with the bell icon so you'll be informed every time that we make a video.
And as always,
Stay metal.